The China-United States trade war is an ongoing economic conflict between China and the United States. President Donald Trump in 2018 began setting tariffs and other trade barriers on China with the goal of forcing it to make changes to what the US says as unfair trade practices. The US and China are due to resume trade talks in coming days. That last took place in January before tensions escalated. The two economic superpowers have been embroiled in a trade war since 2018 that has damaged the world economy. For many months, neither Trump nor China's President Xi Jinping showed signs of wanting to back down. However, in January 2020, both countries agreed to ease restrictions imposed on imported goods from each other. These commitments were supposed to be fulfilled. However, relationship between these two countries have increasingly strained in the last 6 months over a wide range of issues. US President Donald Trump has clashed with China recently over two Chinese apps, TikTok and WeChat, which could be banned in the US over national security concerns. The trade war has negatively impacted the economies of both the United States and China. In United States, it has led to higher prices for consumers and financial difficulties for farmers. In China, the trade war contributed to a slowdown in the rate of economy and industrial output growth, which has already been on decades of long declines. The United States and China are the world's two largest economies. US has a larger nominal GDP, whereas China has a larger GDP when measured in terms of purchasing power parity. China is the world's largest exporter. On the other side, United States is world's largest importer. They have so far been important pillars for the global economy. Now, the million-dollar question is where the US China trade war should go from here. With the fallout from coronavirus further straining US China relations, the brief detente the two superpowers enjoyed after signing a Phase 1 trade agreement in January 2020 has all but disappeared. When the agreement was signed, it was evident that China's commitment to purchase an additional 200 billion in US goods and services over the next 2 years was unrealistic. Amid a potential global depression in the wake of the pandemic, the deal is dead on arrival. But both governments claim that they are committed to implementing it. When the global economy begins its long and arduous recovery, the United States needs to shift its strategy in the trade war to address the core concerns that prompted the economic conflict, such as Chinese industrial espionage, non competitive practices of state owned enterprises, and China's expansive system of industrial subsidies. It will be tempting for the Trump administration to turn to tariffs once again to increase pressure against China, but this cannot be the policy moving forward. During the height of the trade war, tariffs disrupted supply chains, created uncertainty for firms, raised costs for consumers, and caused global growth to slow. A fresh round of tariffs would be even more harmful. They would derail the fragile global recovery and impose additional costs on Americans as unemployment skyrockets and savings are drained by the economic consequences of COVID 19. It would also threaten the implementation of the Phase 1 agreement further. Instead, the United States should leverage its alliances to form a coalition to counter unfair Chinese economic practices and cement its economic interests in the Asia Pacific region. United States should launch exploratory free trade talks with emerging markets in the Indo Pacific to strengthen economic ties to the region. Since withdrawing from the Trans Pacific Partnership, the United States has lacked a credible response to counter China's economic influence in the emerging Asia. With China close to signing the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership and the Trump administration's dislike of multilateral trade deals, the United States needs to begin bilateral talks with countries such as India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and they need to boost their tie-ups and economic collaboration there. A spate of high-quality trade agreements would advance America's economic presence in the region, an opportunity that was relinquished when the Trump administration withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. These policies are not panacea for the United States to effectively rally its allies to counter China's economic threat. It needs to rebuild alliances that have been strained over the last 4 years. US allies share concerns over Chinese technological ascendance and its unfair economic practices, but have grown increasingly frustrated with the United States' use of economy statecraft targeting trusted partners. The Trump administration's plan to develop an economic prosperity network could be promising, but the United States should continue by rolling back tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos against allies before deepening economic integration. While China has not hesitated to retaliate against US allies using economic tools against South Korea in 2017 over the THAAD missile system, Canada after the arrest of Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou, and Australia following its call for an investigation at the WHO into the origins of COVID 19. Beijing cannot risk engaging in a simultaneous trade war with countries that make up nearly 60% of the global economy. The COVID 19 pandemic has the potential to be a system altering event that accelerates existing trends and destabilizes the liberal international order. If the United States turns to tariffs once again and fails to build a coalition to counter China's economic influence, it risks weakening both its global standing and the recovery from the pandemic. These policies are an important first step to demonstrate that the United States and its allies are committed to addressing distortionary Chinese economic practices without jeopardizing the impending economic recovery. By using multilateral tools as opposed to unilateral tariffs, the United States can minimize retaliation and maximize pressure. For now, there are more questions than answers. In recent past, the incidents that have occurred, like closing of embassies and the growing concerns about COVID, that has escalated the tension between the countries rather than any bonding taking place. No doubt, both the countries are superpowers and they are the largest economies in the world, but they can't work in isolation. They need to get support from their allies in order to prove their point. Neither China nor US can do something of their own. Now, if US has to confirm or US has to establish that the policies are unfair from China and that if they want to retaliate, it has to be through the partnerships in Asia and they have to partner with the countries who are willing to help them in recovery. Now is a situation wherein like you don't have to do a tit for tat thing. You have to look for your economy. You have to look for recovering your economy. At the same time, you have to help others in getting into a fair trade system, and that is how you grow with others. This will be this turning point for both the countries as how do they approach and they strengthen their economies going forward. Thank you very much for watching this vlog. My next blog will be on COVID, flu, and COVID 19. Thank you very much. See you soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.